What's in the fucking box?
Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Mezco Toyz 112 Collective PX Previews Cable Figure Review.
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey I'm fucking with. Hype beast we know about. You stay buying figs, don't know about it.
The hard 10 for Cable. Cable on one side. Mezco Toyz on the opposite. Cable again. 112 pose, play, display on the other side. Let's get this bad boy open. See what's what. Alright, here we go. Taking a close look at Nathan Summers, aka Cable, who first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 201 in 1986. Originally created by Chris Claremont, however his adult identity was created by Louise Simonson and artist co-writer Rob Liefeld, who I follow on Instagram, who is always championing Deadpool and Cable and the X characters he's associated with. But the adult version of Cable had his first appearance in New Mutants number 87 in March 1990. This is our second Cable figure from Mezco in a matter of a month. The first Cable was a more modern look. This is like his 90s costume here. Obviously this reminds all of us of his costume in the Marvel vs. Capcom video game. Looks like they just didn't put the underpants on the outside.
Cover me.
I actually like the way this looks. I was not a big fan of this particular costume scheme on Cyclops, the way they kind of mix the mesh and faux leather here, but on Cable it actually does look very good. I can't lie. Cable is the biological son of Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, and the half brother of Rachel Summers and Nate Gray, and then he is also a genetic match for Stripe, who was X-Force's biggest foe throughout those early years in the 90s when they first put together the X-Force team that we all know and love. Straight out of the package, he comes with 2 fists attached. He's got the typical Mezco wrist pegs. He's packed in with a couple hands with the trigger fingers extended. I will double back to these. He's got a couple of hands that are semi-open. They're cupped. These can be utilized to hold another one of his accessories that I'll get to. I will double back to these as well. And then he's got a couple of hands that are open with the fingers slightly spread. These can be utilized to hold items or to support his heavy weapons. No issue swapping out any of the hands. That's it for hands. 3 sets of interchangeable hands. 4 actually, including the fist. He's packed in with a few guns. He has a pistol,
Piper,
which he can hold with no problem. His finger is in the trigger groove, and that looks good. And the pistol can be holstered on his side. He's got what they're labeling as a grenade launcher, and this looks to be one of the same guns that came with the regular release of Cable. And there's that, kind of holding it in a relaxed state. It must be noted that the pistol can't really be fixed into this holster. It is a little loose. I don't like that. I would have liked some mechanism where it kind of like snaps into place, but he looks good holding a grenade launcher. It should be noted that the carousel on a grenade launcher does rotate too. He's also packed in with the plasma cannon, which is another weapon that we received with the regular release of Cable. And you can see right there, a magazine can be fitted into that little port. And he has 2 magazines that can be fitted into the plasma cannon. And you can get him into a decent aiming pose.
Viper beam.
I like that there's some light piping here in the front of the cannon. If you get some light hitting that in the right way, it'll definitely look real cool. Some dramatic lighting. I mean, it's a great figure for A.C.B.A. Most Mezco figures are because they photograph so well. But yeah, despite this suit being super tight, you can pose them up pretty well. I'm actually not sure which way the magazine should be inserted into this cannon. If it should be this way or the opposite way, but there is some lettering here. You can make that out. I don't know if it's supposed to be IX or XI. I guess IX is 9, maybe? I don't know. I don't know my Roman numerals. Or is it V quadruple I for 9? I don't know what that's supposed to be or which way that's supposed to go. So help me out in the comments below if you know. One of my gripes though, like with the previous Cable figure, is that, you know, he's got these other guns and there is no harness or anything where you could kind of attach his other gun to his back. That would have been cool if they would have included some different type of harness or some magnetized mechanism or something like that. Kind of whack that you can only have him holster the pistol and then have him hold in one gun. We all know that Cable is about them guns. He's always got a bunch of guns, big guns, and he's always able to carry quite a few around. So that was kind of a fail. This is something that they should have absolutely upgraded for the PX version. And then his final weapon is labeled as a spear on the packaging, but we all know this as the
Scimitar.
You know, if you've been playing Marvel vs. Capcom, or if you ever played Marvel vs. Capcom, then you know all about this weapon here, or if you are an avid reader of comic books. And he can hold that with no problem with the hands that are cupped. And that looks good. You can have him hold it with two hands or one, but it's a damn shame that you can't, at the very least, attach this to his back. That would have been cool too. And just taking a close look at the head sculpt attached to him out of the package. So I do think that these head sculpts for Cable are a little soft. I think they could have definitely put more like brow lines on him and more sort of scrapes and scars and made him look a little more rugged. I think he looks a little too pretty. He's a little too clean.
Gotta
I'm pretty
get
sure
rough.
I said the same thing about the previous version too, but let's go ahead and swap on the other head. And yeah, it should be noted that there is a light up feature here, so the head has very limited mobility. I'll go over the articulation shortly, but that is one of my major gripes with this figure, is the lack of head neck articulation. Because of how they have this light feature fitted into the neck, you don't really get the best articulation, unfortunately. But let me swap on this other head and then I'll double back to the light up feature. There you go. So he's got an angry sort of gritted teeth look, but he kind of looks like, ooh, just like that Wolverine figure that they put out. You know, they don't really nail it when they have teeth exposed with some of their figures. I don't know what's going on here, but it looks more goofy than it does tough. And again, it's still a little soft in my opinion. I think they could have done better with this. As far as the light up feature goes, you got to kind of twist this little apparatus here, and then you pull this out and you can change the batteries here. And you can see an on and off switch, and you can take the batteries out. Somewhere this slips apart. I'm going to use the neck peg from the other Cable because I already have the batteries fitted in that one. Actually, no, I won't. I forgot that the light up feature is different with this one. This harness here is what houses the batteries and the switch for the light up feature on the first release of Cable. So it's not the same. It's the Cyclops figure that has that neck light up feature. So let me see if I could just use the Cyclops figure. I don't feel like taking out these batteries and doing all of this. But yeah, for the record, you can swap on the angry gritted teeth head from the PX previews version onto this version here. And that looks fine. And you know what? I did it anyway. I went ahead and slipped the batteries on there. Let me close this back up. See if it turns on. Yep. Alright, that seems to be working okay. Get these lights off so you can see. Yeah, not bad. And it'll work with either head sculpt. Of course, I'll get some proper setups going at some point and really get that lit up eye under the right lighting. Taking a closer look at the deco here. Like I said, I do like what they did here, the double X logos. Only thing they didn't include was the outside shorts, underpants on the outside, which I don't think would have looked good here. I think they've made the right choice with this. You know, sometimes from the back, Mezco stitching could look a little funny style, but it looks pretty good here because the harness is kind of breaking up some of this stuff. I do like the sort of faux leather and mesh mix here much better than I like it on the Cyclops figure, and everything looks very clean. I've only seen like one little stitching issue here. I may want to just singe that underneath the underarm there. But so in terms of articulation, the head does get a little bit of pivot. You can get them to look left and right, but you're not going to get them to look down. You're not going to get them to look up too far. That's pretty much it. Again, because of that light up mechanism, that's pretty much it for the head and neck, and that sucks. Shoulders on the ball joint. The exposed arm is going to come up just about that far. I mean, they'll both get up about the same amount, but you can do a full 360 with the exposed arm. Obviously, you don't want to do that with this arm. You will damage the material. He does have upper torso articulation, ab articulation. You can turn them left to right at the upper torso as well as the waist, but you're not going to get the greatest range again because this outfit is very tight. Legs are going to come up just about that far. He does get a really decent split before you start to stress the material there. He does have an upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee. I do kind of wish there was rotation here at the upper boot. It doesn't seem to be working, but it might actually twist up the pant leg if you mess with that too much. So you got a hinge and a pivot and rotation on the foot, double jointed elbow. I skipped over the arms. Double jointed elbow, swivel and a hinge on the wrist. Pretty standard articulation for a Mezco. Alright, a few quick size comparisons here. There is the original release of Cable on the left. You can see how they vary in height. Because he has the boots and the armor and stuff on, he is a tad bit taller, and I still think he was actually kind of short with the modern look. So this version here is definitely a little on the short side, I would say. But let me break out some other Mezcos to see how they stack up next to him. There we go. We got the plainclothes Wolverine, my makeshift Cyclops with the Gomez body, and Deadpool here. So again, Cable's supposed to be like 6'8". I think this figure should have definitely been bigger. And there's father and son side by side, so you can see that Cyclops is taller than Cable, and I don't think that's how it's supposed to be. The costumes are very similar, but for whatever reason it just looks better on Cable to me. I'm just not a fan of this Cyclops figure or the other one. Alright, I'm getting up out of here. Really clean figure here from Mezco, but definitely too small, not enough accessories, not enough playability as far as having him interact with the accessories. Like I said, he should have been able to harness a gun on his back or put the scimitar on his back. I think that the LED, the light in his eye, probably could have been a little bit brighter too. Obviously, I can't show it off here with the all white. I'm taking pictures for the thumbnail right now. But also, the head sculpt's very soft. I think they should have been a bit more rugged, maybe even something a little different, a beard or something like that. I know he didn't really rock the beard with this particular outfit, but more. We needed more for the $100 aside from the, you know, increased price point just because of the LED. Leaves quite a bit to be desired here, but again, you know, it's bittersweet. It is still a very good looking figure. Alright, so I hope this review helped you out. As always, thanks for hanging out. Rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.